Okay, so this is our third installment of the, or third or fourth, I don't know, installment of our lost files because of Goliath
The
corrupted my
Kingsman Lost
files. Kingsman lost files. I'm just talking with Rokan, who is played by Colin Jophus, and you guys just left Creighton's estate.
Yes, when we last left our heroes, we were at Creighton's estate, and we had just freed a water elemental from his basement, which is against all laws of
Rolthane.
Excuse me.
And then, so from there, you guys are both down in some underbrush.
Yeah, hiding.
Adotiln is recovering because he
Almost dead. He had,
almost
like,
dead.
one hit
He
point
is
left.
healing himself and doing some spell lookups and doing inventory on his potions.
Yeah, and as he's doing that, he sees me just climb a tree and then bounce.
Assassin's Creed style, Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah.
Jump through the trees. And then he lands on the road, and then he walks up to a guard who seems to be running from.
Yeah, I cut him off because he was running on the path.
Rokan saw a guard running, the guard that was attacking Adotiln, running towards somewhere.
Voiced by a really nasally.
Oh yeah, he was voiced by a nasally teenager. So I was like, oh my god, I really need to get I gotta tell people what do you think you're doing. Yeah, it was so annoying. So
I murdered him.
So
I silenced him.
You silenced him. You didn't talk to him, right?
No, I killed him.
You just killed him immediately. All right, yeah. You critically hit and stabbed him. Like you just charged him, and then dragged him, and then hid the body perfectly under some underbrush. Some people walked by who were voiced by Elvis and Paula Deen.
Elvis and Paula Deen walked.
They were talking about cooking, obviously, and then.
And I had to hide.
And then you hid the body.
My hiding was successful. So.
Adotiln met up with you, and then you guys. Where did you go from there?
After
the tavern.
After I hid the body, I bolted and just tried to quickly think.
Yes. Okay.
Well, he was healing himself, right?
Yeah.
And so then I left. I fled the scene basically. I didn't really care about Adotiln at the time. I didn't know where he was. It didn't matter. I was just my brain was going. So I tried to think about anyone that might know anything about Creighton. And to think about the area that I was in too. And I remembered he said that there was. A tavern in the area that he used to frequent. There was a wench that he would have relations with, and it was called the Drunken Gillfish.
Yes.
And so I just quickly, it was the closest thing on my mind, so I just went there to hide out.
While you were there, you've found these three women. Couldn't find out who was who. The woman that you did finally find was named Lindina, who was voiced by Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers.
And
so
yes,
there
were three women, and I couldn't remember. I was trying to think in my mind like how he described her, and I couldn't remember. So I just flat out guessed, and I just went, "Has Creighton been around lately?" And she went, "Oh
my God, Creighton!"
Creighton.
And Rokan leans over to Adotiln and goes, "All right, we got to get her out of here. We got to find a way to get her out of here." And so Adotiln goes, "All right." So he just leans back, he tilts his chair back and rolls a fog potion into the fireplace, and then the room explodes with ash, and then everybody flees. And in this, Adotiln, you take. Someone had a cloak and they covered her and then ran off.
Yeah, I took my cloak. Yeah, so I had been flirting with her just to try and pull some information out of her about Creighton, and obviously she was at work, so she's not gonna. I needed to get her out so we could actually interrogate her.
Yeah.
So I've got her hand, holding her hand and flirting with her, and then the bomb just goes off.
Mhm.
And as soon as I do that, before that it was because he had
Oh,
done a
yes,
charm
yes,
and
yes.
he's glowing.
Yeah,
So-
he used the wrong potion earlier. He was trying to do he wanted to do a charm potion,
yeah.
I think, and
And
he
it
used the
failed.
wrong potion, and his spells did double damage or something for the next 10 minutes. But
He was
so for role playing purposes, his potions glowed. So underneath his coat, he had like these light bulbs that he was like,
So
like
like
trying to hide.
I described it as like when somebody's phone lights up
Yeah,
in a movie
through
theater
their pocket or something.
It's like you can obviously they're like, oh come on, man.
Exactly.
So
You covered it with a
that's-
cloak.
right? So I took my cloak and I covered him, so it just kind of looked like he was getting his haircut.
Yeah, like that smog thing.
And that's why I was kind of talking to Lindina to distract her, and then as soon as the fog went off, my fireman carried her.
Yeah, you grabbed her. You had her hand, and you just went up and underneath her armpit and lifted her and took her out.
And then,
in this same motion,
Yeah.
Addleton is right behind you, and then puts the cloak on her.
Cloaks there.
And then you guys both run to Guns and Hammers,
Yeah,
which
we
is
ran out, yeah.
a blacksmith shop owned by Gunthro, who was voiced by John Goodman. And from there, you guys met John Goodman, Gunthro,
Yeah.
and he was
Good
he's been smuggling illicit jewels. So
Yeah,
some that are cursed, some that are magic. But,
If you were to describe my character a little bit, he's more of a crooked cop, I guess.
Mhm.
So what's that blue streak line? It was like, oh, you catch you when you catch the little fish, you let them go so you can catch the big fish. So
Exactly.
he's like a little fish, and so he's just part of Rokan's network of people that he knows are criminals, but he doesn't really do anything
yeah,
about.
exactly. So meeting Gunthro, he is usually doing late night inventory for his shop and of course his second business. And
extracurricular activities.
yeah, he was there. He unlocks the door, lets you guys in. You guys interrogate
Which
Lindina.
is a body.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, we need to use your place.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I won't. I won't ask questions.
Yeah,
you guys went downstairs, spoke with Lindina. Lindina had no idea what you guys were talking about, or she didn't know much.
Well, she was basically just describing their nights together.
Yeah,
and I was
that's all-
trying to
that's
get
all she
any
knew.
information about
The water elemental.
Yeah, the water elemental. And then what we landed on, like, what was the thing that he said to impress you to get you to sleep with him? And then she kind of
Showing
gave a-
the house.
showing
Yeah.
the house, but it really didn't help much. But what did help was then we went upstairs and talked to Gunthro about his inventory.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys go upstairs, talked about his inventory, and you guys found a clear marble with a blue, like a little blue marble hovering in the middle of it. That one had liquid in it, and Addleton kept it until he figured out what it was. So
when we left,
you guys left. Creighton was walking by, with in his night clothes and a sword, and being flanked by
I think
two
we had
guards.
left with
You guys were walking out, and then you went,
yeah,
"Whoop,"
with her because we had to get rid of her now. And as soon as we left, oh boy,
and you went back into the building, and then Addleton casted sleep on her, poured her a sleep potion on top of her, and then he cut her face.
Because my original plan was to have her work as an agent for us
Yeah.
and try and separate Creighton from the rest of
Yeah.
them to maybe like get him to somehow
Yeah.
be seduced by her. But instead
Instead-
Addison just went, no, better idea.
No, yeah, he just went, okay, you're right. And again, not saying his idea, he going ahead and doing it. He puts her to sleep, cuts her face on top of her eyebrow, and then carries her outside saying, help, help. Creighton comes running over. Oh, what's the matter with her? He says, I don't know. I think she fell. And he goes, no, this isn't. There's no swelling.
Yeah,
This
we
is
don't know what
definitely-
happened.
There's
You
definitely a
need
cut.
to come help.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, well, let's inspect. And he's like,
So, but the move that really helped us was that he was like, "Oh, we'll grab her," and he was like, "I gotta get the door.
Yeah.
Pick her up."
exactly. He's like,
So
you
now,
hold
now
it.
he's rendered useless. He's got a body.
Yeah,
he's carrying a body.
Yeah. He's like, oh, grab the door. He goes, yeah. So he's carrying the body into the building. He carries her into the building. Rokan was hiding behind the door, and then again
hammer.
hits him with a hammer, knocking him out again. So now he and Linda are both knocked out.
Twice. He's been unconscious twice in the same night.
Yep.
With 2 bludgeon marks on either side of his head.
They both wake up to you guys in masks. You were in a full helm.
I was wearing like a full helm with just my eyes exposed.
And Addleton is wearing that same mask from earlier.
Yeah,
so
to
Creighton
expose.
thinks he's marked.
Yeah, to expose Mark, we needed a scapegoat.
Oops. And then, do you remember everything that you said from there? He woke up. He didn't know where he was.
I had just made up some new to kind of get him off our trail. I just made up some new the Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah.
That they were here to take vengeance on all those using magic for ill will, which of course he was doing, and he knew it. He had a guilty conscience, and I had made it up because I wanted to cover up the fact that I'm Rokan. And
Exactly.
He was a little suspicious, but I told him I had killed Rokan because he was on to me.
So now Creighton thinks that there's this other faction now in Evervale trying to expose
More magic. Yeah.
more magic and things like that. I don't remember. You didn't get much information from that though,
Oh
right?
no, he.
Oh no, yes,
He eventually
this whole
told us
thing.
because then we had Lindina on the other chair and we were threatening to kill her. And
Okay.
so he
He said-
eventually named
Gunthro, his supplier. He goes, "Oh yeah, I've raised the elemental from its
infant state.
its inception, and he's like, well, how did you get it? I got it from an elemental eye. And he goes, where'd you get that? I got that from a dealer. And he goes, who? Name? I need names. And you started, and he panicked and in
Yeah, because then we started cutting.
cutting Lindina.
We cut her ear off.
And then he said Gunthro, and then Gunthro goes, "Did I hear my name?
Hello.
Did I say my
You
name?"
call me?
And then
I'm glad he didn't go. Did you call me Rokan?
Yeah, I know.
He just didn't.
That would have been really good funny. and then Addleton goes.
I probably had to kill.
Addleton's like, "Wait, did it look like this?" And he pulls out that marble, and he goes, "Yes, that's an elemental eye." So it hatches during a sun shower and things like that. And so Addleton goes upstairs and tells Gunthro we need him downstairs.
So-
Gunthro goes towards the door, and Addleton pushes him down the steep ladder or the steep steps that were there.
He breaks his
and he
ankle.
breaks his ankle and lands on his hands and knees at the ground. So now it's like a 3-person torture fest
Yeah.
between you two.
Yeah.
Which
I wasn't really planning on 3 people, but now
but Addleton, that card, that wild card
Yeah.
again.
So I
Or
basically
loose
had
cannon, really.
to again. Then the 2 of us got information out of Gunthro, and he named the people that he gets it from. What was this band called? Like this kid that
Hearth's Vengeance.
works for Hearth's Vengeance.
Which is a guild
They're
from our other campaign that has been
rebels.
originated by Colin's character there.
Yeah, Gambion's father belonged to Hearth's Vengeance.
Yeah, so the kid's name was Ruknin. He is a runner. He goes in and out of the city gates with adventurer's gear and sells it within the city gates to further just try to do some sort of uprising against
Yeah, I guess
the Swarm.
they're getting
Some sort of arsenal or
magic
something.
and, getting back into the world. They're just doing all they can to do that.
So the interrogation's over at this point. So I just remember Addleton takes out his...
I left him.
You left.
We wanted to scare him into not getting involved in any more. I mean, there's the banishing of magic, but then there's the utilizing magic to. Like my character understands the banishing of magic. If you want something gone, just abolish it. But to use it to your own advantage while you're saying one thing and doing another, didn't sit well with Rokan. So to scare Creighton into not doing something like that, we killed Lindina in front
Yeah.
of him.
So Lindina was killed. Gunthro was killed by.
Yeah, and then he just went crazy.
Yeah.
And just killed him too.
Yep, he killed Gunthro because he was following your lead.
Yeah. Just
then,
went, all right.
and then
he was about to kill Creighton.
And then he did not kill Creighton, and instead they knocked him out a third time.
Yeah.
And then that was where we left off, I think. Oh no, you guys left.
Yeah, then we
You
left.
guys met Efnar Brunier, who was outside. You remembered him.
Well, we
short...
had taken shelter, or I mean, it doesn't matter either way, but we had escaped, and and then there was a dwarf.
Yeah, it was a ginger dwarf with a big red beard and a mustache. It's long enough that he tucks it behind his ears. And then he's always been remembered by Rokan as a really nice guy. He always says hi in the hallways, and he goes, "Oh, how are you?" Blah blah blah. And then, but anyway, avoided completely. Oh no, he almost.
I kind of just tried to walk right by him,
And he's like, "Sir, why do you have your helmet on?
and
Please
I
take
just
it
kept
off."
walking, and he went, "Stand!" And I went,
yep.
"Oh."
And then
slowly had to
slowly
talk to
turned
him.
around. You spoke with him. You wouldn't take off your helmet. He said, "You need to take your helmet
Yeah,
off. We're in
just
the
kept
middle.
going.
We're looking for a criminal right now." And then you bolted.
Well, there was one slight distraction of like, who are you looking for? And he kind of looked
Attitude.
around. And as soon as that happened, I just went, ugh!
Yeah, and you
Tried to run
ran.
away.
You got tackled by 2 guards, and then you escaped from their grip with a critical, so you fled. And then you ran into a wall, I think, because you couldn't
because
see
of the
well.
fog.
Because there was
So I got
fog
out of
again
them.
by Adultilm. And then,
And
that was
climbed up.
pretty much where it left off. A lot of things happened. There was a lot of attempts of the GM trying to take the characters, but
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
we kept
So
escaping.
we
So
did leave off with you bursting through someone's window.
Yeah, I climbed the, I climbed the buildings and was like just kind of hopping
Mm-hmm.
over them, and they're following, trying to see where I'm going, almost like the Batmobile hopping over.
Exactly.
Buildings. And so there's one where there was kind of a smaller gap in between them. So I jumped in through the top window. Window was open. Rolled in, and there was a family, and a guard was
And they're
questioning
talking to the
them.
guards. And
So
the guard,
here comes the guard, runs at me. I just sidestep, and he
that guard
flies
just
out
goes
the window
whoop,
and
right
dies.
out the window, and
that's where
we left off. So it's Adultilm is on the roof somewhere, trying to hide from the guards,
surrounded by
and
guards.
you are in some family's house, and you stepped out of the way. A guard flew out the window, and you're like, and then blackout.
Right.
So, all right, cool. That's where we left off, everybody. I know that these episodes are a little weird and probably a little boring, but at least now you know what our timeline is and what's been happening. And I'm going to probably do the same thing next week if I don't have all my computer parts here and ready. I should,
don't think
but we'll
they're
see.
boring. I think they're dramatic and interesting.
I do. I think the
Or you
I
could
think
just
they're.
keep rolling and going. Attack of opportunity.
Oh no, I'm saying boring as in these commentary sessions, but it's also good
We'll
as
dance too.
like it's also like a good kind of like inside the actor's studio. So tell me
How
about
did you-
Rokan. So yeah, anyway, thanks guys. Sorry about my Skype framing me in weird ways. There we go. Okay, so thanks guys. Thanks for coming by. Means a lot when you stop by and click these things. Check out the website. Check out us. 8 p.m. Mondays, 8 p.m. The King's Men on Twitch.
Prime time.
Prime time. Twitch TV /Mythomatic for the King's Men. Thanks, guys. See ya.